Africa has started closing its borders and locking down communities to mitigate the risks of the coronavirus. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations is calling for all countries to take urgent measures to lessen the impact on food systems and all dimensions of food security and nutrition. Let's connect now with the FAO Deputy Regional Representative and Country Rep for Ghana, Joycelyn Brown-Hall. Great to have you on our program this afternoon. I hope you're doing fine.
I'm well, thank you.
Great. And so based on your numbers, what's been the effect so far on food security as we try to tackle this coronavirus pandemic?
Well, so far, still over 80 people in the world who are food insecure. We haven't decided how much the COVID-19 has affected that thus far. There is enough in the world. What we have to be worried about now is not breaking the food supply chains.
Okay, and so let's look at how you expect this to affect food security globally in the long term. We know right now we are not able to put together the figures, but what is your projection really?
Well, we have a unique opportunity at the moment to address food security. It might happen, food insecurity that might happen, and also nearly 8 billion people who are food insecure right now. If we continue to have lockdowns, farmers can't grow, and people can't get to market, and truckers can't drive for markets, are going to have a serious security crisis. But we have an opportunity because we do have enough food, and we do still have earth, and we can trade. So it's important for policymakers to they're still working 24/7 addressing COVID-19 and health issues and masks, PPEs and ventilators. Also be thinking about could be a horrible food insecurity situation if we don't start now. Yeah, there's enough food in the world, and there's enough from what the world has produced. We've got to keep these supply chains open and make sure that the people who are part of the supply chain continue to be safe and healthy.
Is a glimmer of hope there when you say that we have enough food? And so how are we trying to get the food to go around? Any policy initiatives being discussed with stakeholders on best ways to also cushion smallholder farmers and people who bring the food to the table, really?
Well, let me address this first by stating I want to applaud the government of Ghana, as well as many other Africans, that while there's lockdown, there's no fights going. There are still allowing food from other places. And that's a really important step. Governments do not impose import bans or import bans, that they don't stop the market. In terms of small, we have to make sure that the inputs needed and the ability, the health ability to harvest what they need and all that food to markets. So we have to create markets and systems that can be safe, where people can visit them, distancing and physical distance, wearing masks and gloves, to be able to get their food.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Joycelyn Hall of the Food and Agriculture Organization, the Ghana rep. Thanks very much for your time. Apologies, we have to cut that conversation, as I can imagine you're straining in your homes to hear what she has to say. Hopefully we'll have that discussion subsequently. Well, the African Development Bank Group has announced the creation of the COVID-19 response facility to assist regional member countries in fighting the pandemic. The facility is the latest measure taken by the bank to respond to the pandemic and will be the institution's primary channel for its efforts to address the crisis. It provides up to $10 billion to governments and the private sector. Here's a news desk report.
President of the African Development Bank Group, Akinwumi Adesina, said the package took into account the fiscal challenges that many African countries are facing. He said, quote, Africa is facing enormous fiscal challenges to respond to the coronavirus pandemic effectively. The African Development Bank Group is deploying its full weight of emergency response support to assist Africa at this critical time. We must protect lives, and this facility will help African countries to fast-track their efforts to contain the rapid spread of the COVID-19, unquote. The fund entails $5.5 billion for sovereign operations in African Development Bank countries and $3.1 billion for sovereign and regional operations for countries under the African Development Fund, the bank's group concessional arm that caters to fragile countries. An additional $1.35 billion will be devoted to private sector operations. 2 weeks ago, the bank launched a record-breaking $3 billion fight COVID-19 social bond, the world's largest US dollar-denominated social bond ever on the international capital market. Last week, the board of directors also approved a $2 million grant for the World Health Organization for its efforts on the continent. Ebenezer Sabte's report for Joy Business.